Hello, everybody. Welcome back to All Things Nerdy with Nate and Joe. I'm Nate. That's Joe. Today we're gonna what up? Today we are gonna continue talking about some fantasy football and talking about predictions, what y'all got going on, what we think, who we like, who we don't like, all the nonsense. We'll continue to give unasked for advice and all that stuff. It's going to be a good time. We'll probably start off talking about some of our predictions for last week just because I want to brag a little, and then kind of jump into it. Joe?
All right, so just going to jump right into it, but let's go ahead and talk nerdy, right? But we have a comment on in here already from F that says, "Big shout out to Joe. If just in case you guys don't know, that's me. He won his week because of his advice. This man is an asset to fantasy football."
Let's go. Big F. That's huge, man. Well, congrats on the dub. I'm glad it wasn't against me, but that's awesome. Joe brings the wisdom. He brings the knowledge, man.
I wish I could that could work well for my teams. But I will say all three of the teams, including the one that we co-managed together, got dubs last week. So a good week. I was winless on one of my leagues, so I'm 1-3 now on one of them. 2-2, I believe. On the other, no, yep, 1-3 and 2-2. So things are
Man,
working out, mate. I might be able to make the playoffs now if I can just continue this.
it's looking good, Joe. I feel like ever since we started this fantasy like little podcast, little series that we're doing, right? Like, I've kind of put a little more effort into it because I want to know what's going on and what I'm talking about and stuff like that. So it's been it has been kind of like a cool little thing to watch, like my knowledge grow as we talk about it all and everything. And my teams have benefited from it. I'm very much a do as I say, not as a do person. Unfortunately, when it comes to fantasy, made a trade last week. Trade worked out well for me in the week of, but then the star person is out with a high ankle sprain. The other receiver just kind of trash. And then the person I traded scored 30 points and like 20 points. So big time.
Yep. So, but I do want to shout out Steph. Me were facing our league this week. If she's listening, thank you so much for sitting Mooney. Um, you saved us there this week.
Yeah, that would have been tough.
Yeah,
He put up some points.
yeah, looks really beautiful, that 31 points sitting on your bench. So definitely appreciate that. For the people listening, how many people sat Mooney and are regretting it today?
A lot of them probably.
Right? Because he wasn't necessarily bad. Like leading up to that week, he had a rough week one, but other than that, like he's been steady, I guess. 17 points, 14 points, 8.5 points. Um, so just a definitely unexpected 30 plus. Here we go, Steph chiming in me for sure. So next week when we jump on and do our recap, we'll let you know if we ended up beating Steph. Nate, how did you do in your other leagues? Did you come away with some wins?
No, so in the league that you and I co-manage a team, we won. We were 3-1 in that league. We are absolutely crushing it. But outside of that, it has been rough sledding. I started out week one, was the high score of the whole league by a ton. And then I've already had some injuries and some fallouts and bad sits and things like that. And I'm 1-3, but last week was the worst. Full PPR. I scored 66.88 points. My team just, whoo, son, not good. They just struggling.
That is pretty rough.
Uh,
My 1-3 team, poor team. I lost Rice last week. So thanks Pat Mahomes for that. Um, he was doing good, and then his own quarterback takes him out. uh, that's I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Like where quarterback throws an interception and then takes out his own receiver, and
yeah.
now he's out for the season on IR. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's tough. That's rough. That hurts. Dude, I want to talk about the shade that I caught last week for some of my predictions. I just want the world to know I made three big predictions last week, right? And I caught shade from every one of them. I am 3-0 in my predictions. All right.
Well,
So,
let's walk through them. Come on, let's walk through them.
all right. All right. So, Baker Mayfield versus Justin Fields. I don't remember who asked, right? But they're like, oh, which one should I start? And what I said is Baker's great. I think on average he will score you more points. But I think Fields has a higher ceiling because of his rushing ability. Bro, I was destroyed in the comments and text messages from buddies about that take, right? I think Cazador even went as far as to say like I had lost any not respect, but what was it that he said? Like any ability to talk on fantasy at all by saying it. So I went 1-0. Fields put up 31 points. Now look, Baker did 28. It wasn't bad. It was a great performance. I'd take it on my team any day of the week. But the point is, as I said, I would start Justin Fields against the team they were playing. Fields came out, hung 31 points. Let's go.
But I will say I'm pretty sure I was against you, and I was like, you should start Baker Mayfield. He's more consistent, like that kind of thing. Baker Mayfield still scored 28 points, so it's not like it was like a blowout. Like, oh my God, Joe is so wrong, and Nate was the best ever. It's more like, yeah, I mean, Nate technically he picked the right call to score the more points, but it was like 3 points.
It doesn't matter. Still 30. I think it's more impressive, right? Like if Baker would have put up 12 and Fields would have put up 13, then it'd be like, whatever. The fact that I said Fields had a higher ceiling and could be a flashier start, and then he hangs 31, I'm gonna take all the credit on that one, bro. Like it was a great call.
We got a comment from Upstairs. Here we go. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, bro.
I was right 3 times in one day. So whatever. However, one of the rights I'm not super proud of. It is just, it is whatever.
McCoy says those are some sweet puzzles. I'm going to assume those are his, and that's why he's saying that. Those are some sweet puzzles. I was going to ask
why is this not working? There you go.
Oh, yeah. Those are some epic puzzles right there. I'm not going to show the last comment because I don't think I don't like it. I'm just kidding. Justin's just saying he was just kidding. Don't take it back, Ed. Come on, man. But what were the other two takes? I can't remember.
So the other two was Zay Flowers or Garrett Wilson. And right. I said I thought Garrett Wilson was going to do better because of the matchup with Zay Flowers, just the way he's been playing, all that stuff. Now, look, here's the caveat. Garrett Wilson put up like 7 points, and you're like, oh, my God, that's terrible. It is terrible. That is not the point of this prediction. I was given 2 options, right? Zay Flowers or Garrett Wilson. Zay Flowers put up 2 points.
Yeah.
So I was correct.
Yeah.
And that isn't PPR.
Yeah, and we agreed on that one because it was like Aaron Rodgers is throwing to him. So, of course, we're going to pick that versus the running back. Which, again, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry had stellar – like 100 yards rushing each, something like that. That was pretty crazy.
So I think Zay Flowers suffers from being a number 1 receiver. I think if the Ravens went out and got Devontae Adams, right? I think Zay Flowers' production would skyrocket just because right now he's seeing the best defender on the field every play, right? Yeah. It's just tough. He's just not creating the space. I think he's a number 2 receiver. I don't think he's a number 1 receiver. And I think he's paying the price for that because he's catching number 1 defenders.
Yeah.
And he's struggling to just create space. But it'd be really cool to see the Ravens go get Devontae. But so that was my second one, right? So Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, they put up 2. Garrett Wilson put up 7. Now Surtain, whatever his name is, beast of a DB. So he locked down Wilson, but still, I was right. So it is what it is. And then my third one was Najee Harris or Tony Pollard, and I said Tony Pollard, and everybody was like, "No way!" Najee all the way, 100%. His backup doesn't even matter. All these things. Najee put up a solid 10 points. Pollard put up, what did Pollard put up, 15, 18, something like that?
Non-PPR was 16, so PPR is going to be more than that. But yeah, I think that was one that I was like, no, start Harris or something like that. But yeah, you definitely got it on that one. Pollard had a good day. guess Najee's usage doesn't matter. I mean, he had 13 attempts for 19 yards, so on rushing. So he got shut down. They shut the running game down surprisingly on Najee. And then what? Let's see, pull up was Pollard.
Pollard was he had 22 carries for 88 yards, a touchdown with 2 receptions for 20 yards. He put up 18.8 points. So
Yep. So definitely a good prediction there. We got another comment from Justin that says maybe Mark Andrews could score me more than 0 with Devontae on the field 2 weeks in a row. That is a surprising one. That
yeah, I don't really
Mark
understand the Mark Andrews usage, right? I know he got hurt last year, but like his usage, his snap count has dropped drastically. Now, Isaiah Likely, whatever his name is, the dude is an absolute menace on the field. He's a great receiver. He's a good blocker. I think he is more athletic than Mark Andrews. But still, Mark Andrews has been a top tier contributor to that team for the last however many years, and he is just kind of fading into darkness. The dude is not putting up anything.
He said likely is how you spell that. Pulled up likely. I mean, even likely though, like he had one really good game, scored a touchdown, like 12 targets, 9 receptions. But other than that, like even likely, he's had 3, 4, 5, 6 targets through 3 games with 4 catches and like less than 50 yards, like in 3 games. So they're just not really using the tight ends as receiver. I mean, I think they're top in rushing, right? Like Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are like both of them are in the top 5 for total rushing yards this season, like in the league. So it's hard to throw the ball around to a bunch of different people when you're rushing that much.
Well, yeah, and I think they don't have to pass it as much, and then B, like they're going to be stacking the box for the Lamar, Derrick Henry thing, which in theory would leave open some outside receivers. But I think Lamar is spreading the ball around more. He's not focusing on just anybody. I know he usually likes to throw it to the tight ends. Mark Andrews has been a beneficiary of that, but it has just not been the same. Like I don't know what it is, but they're not getting the ball. I personally probably would not start any Baltimore receiver or tight end.
100%. I know what it is. It's Derrick Henry. He had 199 rushing yards last game, 150 the game before. Like when you're rushing that much, you don't got to pass it. Like,
yeah, I mean that's real.
And then Lamar had 54 rushing yards last game and 87 rushing yards the game before that. Like,
yeah, I mean, so Derrick Henry is position ranked 3 for fantasy right now. And if you look, like his first 2 games were kind of suspect, 13 carries, 18 carries, which no one understood why. So, like in the first half of the Kansas City game, they came out, they handed the ball like 5 times. That was it. Why you go get Derrick Henry if you're not going to give the man the ball? Like it makes no sense. So you can tell that like ever since week 3 against Dallas, like they realized like, all right, he gets better as the game goes. Can you imagine trying to tackle someone that's 250 pounds that runs like that for 4 quarters? F that.
Yeah. And in that Kansas City game, Lamar Jackson himself rushed for 122 yards.
Yeah, they're just not having to pass the ball. And I mean, I don't see them really having to. Like Cincinnati, like I think they will run over Cincinnati. The Commanders have a pretty stellar defense. They might have to pass more there, but I think at this point, like they're kind of established, like we're going to rely on the run. I have Zay Flowers, and he will not be starting for me. And I know the projections look nice every week, 15 points, 14 points, whatever. You just can't trust him.
We got Brian Barnes says Titans deeply miss Derrick Henry.
Y'all got Will Levis. It's fine. His memes are better than y'all getting dubs. So
y'all got Will Levis. Oh man, yeah, the memes. Man, that was definitely a fumble. Like, how do you let Derrick Henry go when he's still that good? Like,
I mean, he is getting older, right? Like, and their team isn't really going anywhere. So, like, they were winning some games, but not really like moving the needle. I get it from a business perspective, But I mean, when you got to sell tickets, you want to be somewhat competitive, or at least have somebody the fans can go watch. Right now, the Titans are just laughable.
I can't think of other than Will Levis, and that's not for a good reason. I can't think of like a person on the Titans that is like, oh, I really want to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
Like Pollard doesn't count, but
No, because
um,
I don't really care about Pollard. He's just a
yeah,
fill-in. Like, is he decent? Sure, but like, I don't get excited about Tony Pollard being on my team.
yeah. And I'm trying. Oh, we got another comment. It says uh, Henry wanted to leave, wasn't a team decision. Yeah, I mean, but it was the end
Was
of
it?
last.
I don't. Wait a second. I feel like I said something that he didn't ask to be out. Like they weren't going to pay him. Um,
Yeah, probably. Well, did he want to leave because of the money, or did he want to leave? Uh, they paid Pollard more than Henry got paid. See, that is a
yeah, Henry left the Titans after being released by the team during the 2024 offseason. The veteran running back had 2 years left on his contract, but was owed no remaining guaranteed money.
dog.
Uh, this says Derrick Henry did not request to leave the Titans.
Mm,
They were shifting to a passing oriented scheme, and Henry is not a primary receiver. Henry was also 30 years old before the end of the 2023 season, and running backs often decline after that age. The Titans were also rebuilding, entering a new era under the new head coach Brian Callahan.
yeah.
So
Well, I will say Henry got the better end of that deal.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, I couldn't pick a better team for him to land at. The Ravens, the way they want to run the ball and play defense and stuff, that's
yeah,
money.
yeah, definitely. So I have a who should you start question for you, Nate. So would you start Kareem Hunt for Kansas City, or Ford for Cleveland, or Zach Moss for Cincinnati? Like out of those three, who would you start?
Man, so like I have to get past the old Kareem Hunt because Kareem Hunt is not the Kareem Hunt of old. I wish he was because he was so much fun to watch, and they like running the ball more. But dude, Jerome Ford has just been—he's been decently consistent.
And so sit them all. Well, I have to start one of them, Brian.
Yeah, I would probably go Jerome Ford, but like BB's not lying. You know, like if you were to sit them all, you might be okay.
Well, I have to start one of them, guys. Like,
I
I
would
mean,
go Jerome Ford.
all right. Let me see. Jerome Ford is ranked 27th. He's been okay. Um, Zach Moss is ranked 20th. Last two games, he's did 15 and 13. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start Ford over the other two.
Oh, okay. Let me look. Well, so Joe Mixon is back too, is he not?
I'm not sure.
I mean, especially if Joe Mixon is back, I would not trust those at all. Joe Mixon's on my team. I should know
Mixon's
these things.
for Houston now, not Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I've openly admitted that. So, yeah, still, also, like the Bengals like to throw the ball, and I feel like they've been struggling. I don't know. I'm going Jerome Ford.
Okay, that's I'm locking him in right here for everyone to see. It's kind of blurry, but Ford is right there. Uh, I still have to go with Archain. Going to start him, even though,
A chain.
yeah, a chain. Even though I don't know, I'm hoping Huntley can get the Miami defense at least respectable, so they can get some yards, like more than 80, I guess. Like
Dude, I went and picked up. Who are they playing this week? Hold on, I can tell you.
the Patriots.
Yeah, like, is that who they're playing? I
Yeah,
picked up whoever they're playing against, just because their offense is so abysmal. Explain to me this. This is what I don't understand. If you are Miami and you are looking over and you see the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at, what is it, 4-0, with Justin Fields,
yeah,
how are you not calling them and saying, trade us Russell Wilson? You have the receivers, you have the running backs, you have a decent defense. All you need is a half-ass serviceable quarterback. How are you not calling the Steelers and being like, "What do you need for freaking Wilson?" Right now, look, I get it. Wilson is not what he once was. A lot of people make fun of him. He's kind of like the nickelback of freaking quarterbacks in the NFL, right?
That is such a
Like
good analogy.
people love to hate him. Like the whole Broncos let's ride. Like it's as cringe gets. It's like the dude's just whatever. He is still better than anybody the Dolphins has, and he can control a game. He can still throw it down the field. Why don't they go get him?
Because they got Huntley now for pennies. They don't need him.
This is ridiculous.
I've heard some like stuff floating around like they go and grab Bryce Young. That would I would not quite understand. Just because Bryce Young hasn't really proven himself yet. But I don't know. I feel like Carolina does a really good job of like making quarterbacks look really bad, and then they go to another team and they do amazing. Exhibit A, Sam Darnold. Exhibit B, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well, both of those. I mean, Baker went from the Browns where he was bad to the Panthers where he was
He
bad
was
to
not
Tampa Bay.
no, he was not bad on the Browns. He got them to the playoffs.
He was
Like
bad. To the Panthers where he was really bad, and then like he's done well in Tampa Bay, right? I wish Bryce the best, but I would not go trade for Bryce right now. Pick him up in the offseason. Don't give anything away. Let him finish out his contract. They're not going to hold on to him. You get to see more. Like, I would not go trade for what Russell Wilson and just anybody that can push the ball down the field.
Brian says James Winston. Oh, I haven't seen that name in so long.
Bro, Jameis would be great. Jameis loves chunking the ball around with no regard to anything. Like, he
Remember
would
that season?
thrive. He would thrive in Miami.
Remember the
And
season
Jameis
he
is a
went
good
30 for
dude.
30?
You know, oh.
Remember that season he went 30 for 30 where he literally threw like 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions?
Well, that's before he could see, Joe. He's had LASIK now. The guy was out there blind as a bat, like winning national championships and throwing 30 touchdowns in the NFL while not being able to see. Everybody was just a big blur. You know, he's fixed his eyes now.
Somebody's gonna catch it,
Dude, legit. Like they talked about his vision and said he couldn't see anything down the field. Like, how is this dude a starting quarterback and blind as a bat?
I don't know. It gives me hope a little bit. Smokey the Cat says, "What's up, guys? What stash is best? Ty Chandler, Benson, or Garindo?"
I like Benson for the Cardinals. I think he is a good back. And
isn't that who we have stashed, actually?
It is who we have stashed.
Yeah.
Yep. Connor always gets hurt, always misses some games. They have a good offense. I like Benson personally.
Yeah, that's it. If you want any more proof, that's literally the stash that we have on our bench right now. So
it is. Yep.
So there you go. Question answered. Brian says, I said that before you even brought it up. That's talking about the Dolphins trade for James Winston or Russell Wilson. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, that comment was in there before you even said it, but I just hadn't gotten to it yet.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on my phone, so I can't see the comments until Joe presents them to us. So I have no idea. I'm over here winging it too. Usually I can read them and kind of half prepare, but this one I'm just shooting from the hip. So, but dude, I think I don't understand why they haven't done it. As soon as Tua went down, they should have had someone making phone calls.
Yeah, and I was surprised that they didn't have like already like a good backup, just because Tua is so injury prone. Like, how do you know that this quarterback gets hurt so often? You don't have a good second quarterback waiting.
Yeah, I don't know.
But let's see who. I did want to shout out. So everyone gave you so much crap for your draft picks, right? But I did want to shout out, like, hey, we are what 3-1 right now.
3-1, baby, and crushing it.
And you picked Jaden Daniels as the quarterback, so you drafted Jaden Daniels, which has been one of the best picks of any pick. Like, you know, I went Caleb Williams in my other league and have been regretting it all season. Should have went Jaden
The Bears'
Daniels.
offensive line is so bad. It's not even that dude's fault, right? Like, I know everybody loves to hate on the kid because of his fingernails and stuff, which, like, I don't mind painting fingernails. I painted mine, all those things. Like, the line is just so bad. I hate how egotistical he is and just how arrogant he is. But the line is so bad. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, like, look, I'm not like it doesn't make me a guru by any means because Jaden Daniels is thought to be such a beast coming in and everything. but he has definitely panned out for us. Also, Joe Mixon is now projected 0. He's not going to play. Womp womp.
Well done. I'm still holding out hope that Williams gets it figured out. Be another. I don't want to be another Bryce Young repeat like we're back to back years like QB1 like the first round of the draft is just a bust, but it is what it is. We got another question from Justin says better defense this week Vegas versus Denver or Denver versus Vegas. I will say I'm starting Denver. They are the ranked 2 defense, and they're also against Vegas. So that would be my pick. But either one of these is not a bad option, being as both the struggles that both teams have had. But let's look up. I'm going to look up the Vegas defense really quick as well. Let's see. They're ranked 27. And they've scored 1, 3, -4, and 10. The 10 was against the Browns. -4 was against Carolina, so that's kind of like even against a bad team, they're gonna suck, I guess. But then when you look at Denver, they're ranked 2, and they've scored 10, 7, 16, and 12. So that goes. I mean, if you're basing it on the previous games, I would say definitely go with Denver, and they face. I mean, Pittsburgh's still undefeated, right? They got beat, but they still came out with at least 7 points. They did 16 on Tampa Bay, 12 against the Jets, and 10 against the Seahawks. So,
yeah, the Raiders have some weird shit going on with coaching, their whole team. I feel like kind of, like talking about business decisions, everything going with Devontae Adams. I'm not loving it. I'd probably avoid Vegas and just go Denver.
yeah. But I mean, if you didn't have that option, like Vegas was out there, I mean, I don't know if a defense has done bad against the Broncos this season. So.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix is good for an interception or something a game, really.
Yeah.
So
he's going to get you at least a couple points. So
yeah.
Who's their running back right now? Like I can't even.
Denver?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it oh my gosh. I know this. No. That's a great question, Joe, and I will answer it right now for you.
I know Jaleel McLaughlin is the backup, right? Or is that the starter?
So Javonte Williams and Jill McLaughlin.
Yeah.
So Williams is the starter, but a lot of people thought Jaleel was going to kind of have a good season, come out and kind of take a lot of snaps away from Javonte. And I know he's taking some, but still. So Javonte is ranked 40th, position ranked 40th, and Jaleel is position ranked 50th. Neither one of them is great.
Yeah, so I'd say again, Raiders defense would not be a bad start for the offense that they're about to face.
Yeah, and Bo Nix is position ranked 23rd. Not great, but
I mean,
let's see.
He had one good game where he hasn't thrown any interceptions the last 2 games. He's only thrown 1 touchdown the entire season, though, so there's that.
Hey, you calm down. Yeah, I mean, I think you got to start the Broncos in that situation. The Broncos are position ranked 2. Vegas isn't that great of an offensive team. I'd go Broncos.
Yeah. Well, I know we are coming up on time here. Are there any last minute thoughts you want to add? Anything like that?
Not really. I didn't make a lot of predictions this week, so my running line might not increase a whole lot. Let's see. Let's just solidify those picks. So the Broncos defense outscoring the Vegas, right? And the stash one is hard to really tell what is right or not because that's like an end of the year kind of pick. So outside of that, I didn't really make any. I guess the only thing on the line for me this week to break my undefeated prediction streak will be if the Broncos.
No, you told me the one starting Ford over Hunt or Moss. So we'll see how that goes. He is projected to beat them by 0.1. So that's what the projections say. I don't know. He's against Washington though, and they have a pretty decent defense.
Yeah.
So it's Ford against Washington, Hunt against the Saints, or Moss against the Ravens. Oh, that's all.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Ford.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, those are all three pretty stout defenses against the run. So,
Yeah.
but all right, well, you guys have a great weekend. Catch us next week. Call to see recap of these predictions that Nate has made. See if you got them right. And then
And I did. I'm correct.
I'm correct. I'm seeing it now. Watch like Denver get blown out by the Raiders.
I hope not.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great weekend.
Take care.